And we're back again. Welcome to We Are Tottenham TV for your instant match reaction and then the post-match fan show where you guys will have the chance to come on. I believe the link will be in the members section soon. Spurs have lost 2-1 to Aston Villa, our second Premier League defeat of the season. Both of them coming at home. We won 3 games out of 18 in the calendar year. Not a good day at the office, Iggy.
Yeah, no, definitely not a good day at the office today, and we'll get into it, do a bit of a breakdown. I mean, I'm saying it off air. There's 3 games out of 18. With under Ange, that was a different season. I know it's not great in all looking at it like that. Underage was different. Frank, I don't think should be brought into that. But of course, the trend at home for our home games in terms of results have to change and very, very quickly, because now teams they've got a taste now. They can come to Spurs and get a result. In the second half, Aston Villa with their changes, they felt, I said it, they made those changes. For those 2 attacking changes, they feel like they can go and win it. And they were rightly rewarded, but we'll get into that, I'm sure. We will do. I mean,
first of all, got a super chat in straight away from Joseph. Scary, we haven't faced Liverpool, Chelsea, Arsenal, Newcastle, and even Palace and Everton will be tough. We might be cooked with our attacks. Listen, I get what you're saying, but we have beat Man City away. We do have a problem with the front line. There is no doubt about that. We do have a problem, in my opinion, and we'll get yours in a minute, Iggy, with this Bentancur, Paulinho double pivot, especially at home. Let's start from the beginning. Obviously, we started off, come out the blocks, firing on all cylinders.
Yeah.
Took the lead early with a great cross from Kudus on the left, with Paulinho getting the assist for Bentancur to put the ball in. And we got off to a lively start, didn't we?
Yeah, we started off well. We started off really well, got the early goal. Defensively, I don't think we really in that first half, apart from Matty Cash's shot that went wide and maybe one intervention that Vicario had to make from across, I don't think defensively had much to do. I know people going on about this double pivot you just mentioned, and I don't think that was the issue because Bentancur was given a bit more licence to go forward and press, which he did really well at the front, the tell. You can argue then afterwards, after his goal, Bentancur's performance slightly dropped a little bit, and we can get into that. But I don't think the double pivot we played without. We had Paulinho sitting there. Bentancur had the licence to go, and then you got the number 10 in Simmons, and we can argue, we can debate his performance as well. I don't argue, debate his performance as well. But in terms of how we were structurally made, I don't feel like was the issue. Neither was the back four. But of course, the final third, right from that's where we need to change. We need to be a bit more of a threat.
Yep.
But in terms of the start, 15, 20 minutes, we scored another goal, which was ruled for offside. After that, Villa got into it, and that's where our mistake was allowing them to come back into it. And more importantly, the thing that annoyed me, because you got to expect their position to come at you, but it's giving them control. We lost control of giving them control rather, and we started to lose the midfield, in my opinion.
Yeah, I mean, also let's bring it to Kevin Danso, who I thought had a very, very good game defensively. But obviously, you could see, like we were trying with those long balls, the difference Romero brings with his passing. I think Danso defensively was as solid as he always is, but we lost, and we could see we were going for those long balls, weren't we? And we just were missing those timing. But like you said, had the second goal disallowed for offside, rightfully so.
Rightfully so, of course. But
and then it was just a bit of back and forth, really, until Villa had their opportunity. Obviously, great shot from Morgan Rogers. Simmons, who had been doing some good defensive work, got the ball back, but it just ricocheted to Rodgers, who just released an absolute bullet of a shot, didn't he?
We had the players behind the ball. We was getting them behind the ball, and you know, we was firing. The way we was set up with the two banks of fours and stuff like that was absolutely fine with that. But my issue with that was we wasn't then in the areas that we wanted, especially when it came into half and we had all the players in our half pretty much. We wasn't then putting any kind of pressure on the ball, and we was kind of standoff and just watching them play. But when they start getting into your edge of the D, and you got players that are threatening it, you got to close them down early, and that's where that goal came from, and the second, for the matter. But particularly in the first half, we didn't press them enough, and I don't understand why we're able to press all the way outside the area, but then when they come into our area, we're not closing them down. We were very watchful. We were very passive in that situation, and Rodgers, you know, hit a good strike, and yeah, they were back in the game with their first shot on goal.
Yep. And then we come out in the second half, and in the second half again we start lively.
Yeah.
Just couldn't make it count, and then obviously Villa, when they made two very, very positive subs, and we're going to get onto Frank and the subs and everything in a minute, but obviously they had a big impact. They scored a very, very well-worked goal. A great ball in from Matty Cash, so I hate to say anything positive about him. Taken down very, very well. I forgot the player. Was it Watkins that brought the ball down?
It might have been Watkins. I can't remember now.
And then obviously to Bundia, who puts a brilliant curling shot in. It's a very soft goal to give away, again, from not coming out and attacking or trying to close them down. But he's taken it very well, hasn't he?
Yeah, like I said, we again in the second half with a 5-minute spell, and then after that they regained control of the game, and we made a change with Richarlison first. They countered that straight away with two attacking changes.
Yep.
So they sensed that they can go and take this game. I don't feel that one change was enough. I think we should have made at least two, maybe minimum two, if not three, for me.
Yep.
But he made one change, and they countered that with two, and even with the cameo appearance from Richarlison, didn't really do nothing,
Nope.
even with him on the pitch. So there wasn't that. I didn't see that great difference from Tell to Richarlison with that change. Then they made a 2-10, and they regained control, and they looked more threatening. And I don't feel that Villa felt any kind of threat from our attacking, from all our attacking players. Simmons, Kudos, Odebert, they were dealing with it. They were dealing with any kind of threat. We had a couple of opportunities to score as well. You know, the air shot from Colin Wine comes to mind. And then even when we made those changes with Colin Wine, how long did that take to make those two changes, Colin Wine and Bergvall?
Yep.
It took too long. And then we've made our final changes with Johnson. We've gone to a back three. To bring Johnson into a back three and play him as a wing-back, I felt in that moment that Emery, and this is my critical, Frank, is based on today's performances. I'm not going to go with what he's done previously. In today's performance, Emery's reading of the game and acting with the substitutions made the difference. Yep. And they went and got the points based on what he read and acted on compared to what our manager read and acted on.
I agree. Listen, people know my feelings on Thomas Frank. He's got it wrong today. I will never be scared to admit it and say it. It just weren't at the office today, and he's made some wrong decisions without a doubt. I mean, first of all, we have got to have Xavi Simons get his mojo. He's got to find his mojo. He's very, very quiet today, but that front line needs open heart surgery in January. It needs some quality additions. Kudus wasn't his normal self today, was he? He looked exhausted after all the travelling internationally. I think the subs should have been made earlier.
Yeah.
I think there was people should be. That midfield needed some energy and some pizzazz, and I thought Pape Matar would have been that player. Obviously, the manager didn't, but he has got it wrong today. I pick no bones with that. I will give him. I will criticise just as much as I praise him. I still think he's an absolutely wonderful manager. I think we are 8 Premier League games into his tenure. I have full confidence that things will get turned around, and it's way too early to start talking as negatively as I've seen social media and people in the chat talking. It's just we've become a we've become a fan base that are just, if it's not going well in 7 games, change it all.
Look, at the moment, people are like us, man. We're not happy with especially for me, more so in the second half performance and the result, of course. And we're now reacting towards that in the chat, and it's it's reflecting in the chat, it's reflecting Frank out and Keeper out and then Towel out, and it's reflecting in everything, and it's reactionary. And I understand that to a certain degree. My thing though is that, if you're going to set up with 4 attacking players, which is what we are, Kudus, Xavi, Odobert and Tel, all attacking players. If you're going to set up like that, you've got to make sure that you are hurting teams with that. Because if you don't, then you literally cut those 4 out of the game, and you're dealing with 4 defenders and 2 the pivot, if you like. So I think where Kudus was a little bit off it today, whatever the reasons may be, we are really reliant on Kudus in our attacking play. What if he's off the ball? What are the alternatives? Where are the alternatives?
Correct.
So for me, we should have beefed up a little bit more in midfield, especially at 1-1. You're seeing it. Try and regain control of the midfield. In that second half, we went through a period where we started to lose that midfield. We needed to inject energy into that midfield. If it means taking one of the attacking players off to put Sarr or Bergvall, do it. And put Simmons out wide. I was saying it during the game. Put him out wide and really strengthen that midfield, because at 1-1 you're still there. You may not be better than them in that moment, but you're still there. But it didn't happen, and it reacted far too late. That's my criticism of our manager, is why he didn't read that situation early at the game, still 1-1. Once they take the lead, now you've got to now put your energies to try and find that goal. And there's spaces now that where they're playing high up, they're not playing as high up anymore. Once they take it, they drop. So where does Johnson now come? Where does Johnson come? Johnson relies on the space in behind. So you've got to bring him up when they're playing higher to allow those breaks like Saab breaking from midfield. Once they take the lead and they drop 20 yards, Saar's involvement and Johnson's involvement is not going to be as effective as you would like it to be. So I just wish they'd acted on it a little bit more sooner, because I'm telling you, we would have gone on to win that game. And to lose a game where you felt you could have gone on to win by just tweaking a few things, maybe taking one of the attacking players, because there weren't. You had 4 attacking players, and not even Kudos, that weren't being effective enough for where you needed them to be effective. And that's the frustration part.
So before I retort that, just to let you know, the game has kicked off at Anfield, and Manchester United have taken a very, very early lead through Brian and Buemo. So Man U are currently 1-0 up at Anfield. Right, let's go back. Like I said, I look at this, like you said, at the moment, creativity is a major issue. Xavi Simons obviously was quiet today in that field. Kudus we rely on. And then you look at this front line that Frank or any manager who would have been in at this time has to deal with. And when you've got Richarlison, you're trying to keep fit. Mawani just coming back. Odobert, Tell, and Brennan Johnson.
Yeah.
There are not a lot of managers that can go, right, do you know what, I'm going to get this strike force firing. A lot of them haven't played regular first-team football, and he needs to work on it. I mean, I said a couple of weeks ago, I would rather see Brennan Johnson up top and put him in the centre, because at least you know if he gets the chance and he's in the area, he can put the ball in the net. We need to fix this front line. We need to address it. We need... Do you know what? I still say Solanke could be... With Simmons and Xavi, he could be the key. There is a key to unlock this strike force until January, which Frank has got to find and he's got to address. But it's a very, very... weak front line compared to what we're used to at Tottenham. We've got a super chat in from, I'm going to try to say his name, Watahai. Tell and Ben, I think that's Ben as in Benson Core, shouldn't start again. Switch Vic with Kinski and we will be able to hold on till January. What do you make of that?
So we're back on the goalkeeper scene.
Yeah, let's have a quick chat about the Vicario one.
Look, if we feel that the problems that we had on our team today all stems from the goalkeeper, then change him. Change him. It's no problem for me. I think that there were a lot of problems in the team today, especially in that second half. First of mine being that we cannot play with 4 attacking players if they're not making a dent. And for me today, it wasn't. It didn't pay off. It didn't play with 4 attacking players that didn't prove any kind of threat in front of goal. I don't remember any of them having a threat of any kind in front of goal. Was probably one too many. And for me, like I said, I think if we had added an extra midfielder in there, and maybe put Simmons out wide on the left, perhaps it would have been so you would have had 3 proper midfielders and then 3 forwards. Then perhaps the game could have gone a bit different. I don't know, guys, because we could have still ended up losing the game. But without, that's my take on it. If you want to go more on the players thing, of course, there's players today didn't play as well. Our four attacking players didn't play well. You can argue the back 4, well, okay, they don't really have a lot really to deal with. Paulinho, I thought, was our best player. Bentancur was... as the kids say, 6 and 7. So
my nephew said that. What the hell is that? What is that?
But forget about it. I've been getting it with my boys as well. So it was one of them ones where it was good and bad. Bentancur. I think the fact that he's got more freedom to go forward enables him to press higher, suits his game a bit better. He got the goal. You have to look at the positives. Then he kind of with the rest of our team, it kind of I don't think we can do. I think either if you've got to have Bentancur, Paulinho, and I think one between Bergvall and Sarr has to be in there. I think Sarr gives us a lot of energy, a lot of legs as well. So you don't lose often midfield when you play with 3 of them there. And we've lost the midfield today. We lost the midfield, especially in the second half. Once they take control, you have to break that, and we didn't do that. We didn't.
I am just saying, because I've seen a few in the chat, especially a friend of mine, Billy, going, "Am I franking?" I am 100,000 million, billion, trillion, gazillion% franking. If this is what we're doing as Spurs fans now, people remember Mauricio Pochettino, who until we beat Aston Villa in November with that Harry Kane deflected free kick, was on the verge of being sacked. Then he brought up Bentaleb and Ryan Mason. And then in the second half of the season, we were phenomenal and went on to things. Previous match, just because we've had a defeat, our second defeat of the entire season, Frank hasn't even had 2 windows. Frank hasn't even been able to put out his full strength team compared to previous managers that have had their full strength team from the beginning. So this has got to stop.
It's too soon. It's too soon to be calling out the manager for sacking him. You can call out the manager for not getting the changes right. You can call out the manager perhaps tactically not getting it right. I'm all for that. I'm all for that. To debate that. Debate he didn't get the changes. Debate that he could have tactically made a few tweaks, and which probably would have turned the tide in his favour. No problem with that. But to say the manager out at this point of the season, and also to be discussing another thing, guys. I know people talking in the chat about players that we need this player, we need this, we need a winger, we need a striker. There's no point talking about the transfer market when we're still in October. Let's discuss this in January, or nearer to January, rather than now. I don't think to say what we need now. I don't think it's going to be any. It's pointless to discuss what we need right now. These are the players that we got, and until January, we've got to move forward with it.
Completely, totally agree with you, buddy. But right, let's start getting the fans on that have called in and want to have their say. And we are going to start with a fellow Canadian who I love speaking with. So let's bring on Nate. Big up to you, Nate. How you doing, buddy?
What's going on, guys? Yeah, I've been better, obviously. I've been better.
What do you want to speak about, brother?
Yeah, there's a lot to unpack here. I just want to start by taking a more level-headed approach, even though after the match my head was gone.
Yeah.
But there's a lot to unpack about this game. I think enough people aren't speaking about the fact that Romero obviously pulled out last minute, and then Udogie also wasn't there. I think those two being lost changed our game as a whole. But the thing, though, when Frank saw that, I think he needs to go on and adjust the lineup. The reason why Romero is so important, and Danzo I think did fine, but the importance of Romero is more so for the offensive side because of his line-breaking passes. And this is actually going to lead into my opinion on Javi Simmons. I actually disagree with you guys. I don't think he was the problem. I don't. Even though Bentancur had the license to go forward, Lily White Labs put a post on Twitter about Bentancur's passing map in the first half. He had one progressive pass, one. And then the second one was the pass to Javi Simmons, which was too far, which he had to stretch for. Bentancur's passing map was sideways the entire time. For a team that wants to be on the front foot, that is unacceptable. So to link it back to the Romero thing, if Romero's out, no one in that back line has the ability to pass the ball forward. Paulina can't really do it too well. Bentancur's not going to do it, obviously. So what is Javi supposed to do? He has no service. And because Villa play very narrow as well, he's pretty much marked out of the game. But I actually do agree that maybe he should have been out on the left-hand side so he could have gotten to the game. I don't know. But I don't think it was all down to, like, Javi. I think Javi actually, obviously he wasn't good enough, but I don't think it was entirely his fault. I think it was mostly he wasn't getting any service.
Oh, yeah, no, listen, don't say that we thought it was his fault. He's just got... There's games where we need to find him to get his mojo and be more creative. He's that creative spark. Obviously, we rely on Kudus. I'm in agreement with you. I think this Paulinho Bentancur, there's certain games, like away at Manchester City, these big, big, big games where you need those two because, obviously, the quality they have in the opposition. Today, I wanted Sarr to start. I really wanted Sarr to start instead of Bentancur. I didn't know that Lily White Labs had posted what you said. That's quite telling, isn't it, with his Bentancur sideways passing. What else do you reckon was the issue today? Or positive? Let's if there's anything.
Well, actually, I mean, I think, and this is what happens on social media, the overreaction is kind of crazy. Listen, obviously, we're fresh. It hurts a lot right now, but... there's actually like a lot of good spells in that game. Like the first half up until about like the 30th minute was excellent. I was like, whoa, we're actually looking really good. I thought Odegaard was looking really solid. Even Tell for the start wasn't doing half bad. He was making really good runs, taking up really good positions. But then after that 30 minutes after the first half, it just dried up a lot. So there was some positives to take from it. And I think that with the left-hand side, the unfortunate part is that I just don't think there's any chemistry between Odegaard and Spence. I just don't think there is. Like, even the overlapping runs, like, Odegaard's not really being able to pick out those passes with Spence. But, I mean, there's so many things to pick out here. I think, for me, this is where I got to, like, go at Thomas Frank. To take off Javi Simmons and not take off Bentancur, like, at, like, the 75th minute or whatever it was, that's just not good. Like, even though Javi wasn't doing good, I think still if we're trying to go forward and get a goal, especially after that Bentancur being passing sideways a whole bunch, Bentancur's got to be the one to come off, not Javi Simmons. You cannot take off your main number 10. And I always just think back to that training video where the coaches were telling Javi Simmons, oh, Javi, create. Oh, Javi, do what you want, whatever you want. You whatever you want. You can't then, like, sub him off. Like, how is he supposed to create if he can't even get the ball? You have to trust him to be able to get on the ball, get him into better spots so he can actually create. But... yeah, I don't know, man. It's tough, but like I'm obviously not like Frank out or anything like that. Not even close. It's so early days. Overall, if you look at the whole fixture list and like all of the games that we've played, we've still done decently well. Like it's been pretty good for the most part. So like I don't know, like what do you guys like? Can you guys take any positives from this game at all, or?
Look, for me, we acted on this game in spells. You know, we had that 15-minute spell at the beginning, and we had that 10-minute spell in the second half. For me, it wasn't enough. You know, if you think of the whole duration of the game, those are the two spells that we had in it. It's not enough. We played with 4 attacking players. That means we were largely more so in the second half. We were dominated by it. And I'm not blaming Simmons for that but what is a contributing factor is because he's playing as the 3. Do you understand? So for me, their 3 dominated our 2 because Simmons wasn't really part of that 3 versus 3. So I would have liked to have seen Simmons to move out in the left, not because I don't think he's good enough for to play in a 10. I just felt like we were getting dominated in that area. And you're right when you say that with Spence, he knows that with Odegaard, he's going to be a player that's very forward thinking. So he's not looking to engage with other players to do a little 1-2, maybe to then get Spence on the overlap, which is what we do when Simmons is there. When Odobek's there, by the time so if you're Spence and Odobek's and he's running away from you, you cannot get near him because you're too far out. So he doesn't stall a little bit, interacts, and then involves you as a left back to go forward on the outside. And also by Spence playing on the left, he's got the freedom to tuck in. He comes, and sometimes it may feel like we're 4 versus 3. If we're doing that, allowing Spence then to go on the outside. There wasn't any of that today. And I just felt that this was an important game for us because it allowed us in a head-to-head, you know. I know Aston Villa are a little bit lower than us, but in terms of where we are as a club, you know, if you think Man City, Liverpool, Arsenal, you know, they're a bit higher than us. There's no two ways about it. But then there's Aston Villa, Spurs, you know, that lot there. I wanted a little bit more, and I was disappointed in that, especially in the second half. And I was disappointed with the fans. I said, you guys heard me during the match. It didn't feel like a home game. You know, it felt like an away game, and we're far more effective away from home because we. As not as under pressure. I don't know what it is. Something's not clicking at the moment between us and the home matches. So there's a little bit of everything today that I kind of felt the longer the game was going, the more the game was running away from us. That's how it felt to me. It never felt like we was going to turn it around anytime soon. When we went 2-1 down, it was only on the 73rd minute or something like that. So there was still plenty of time to recover the game, but. It just didn't go that way, unfortunately.
Listen, I completely agree. We need to see some more energy. We need to see some more aggression and being more ruthless at home. We need to find the right attacking three, or maybe even
the changes were too late.
Oh no, mate,
too late.
That I 100%.
Way too late.
That 100%. The substitutions Frank made or the timings.
And that's where the manager earns his money because Emery read the game. He read that second half. He had a smell that he can win that game, made his changes at a vital point, and Buendia proved to be the match winner. That's where the manager earns their money. Now, I'm all for Frank, no problem. I just hope that this match is of use to him to rectify and become better in the next games. But if these patterns begin to continue, then that can change, you know, and go south very, very quickly. He needs to learn from this and read the game a little bit better. Not just him, but also the staff that he's got around him to read that situation and act as it happens and be very, very quickly to do that. Not wait. The boys were on the side for 5-6 minutes before they came on. Yeah. It was at a point where they were on top of us. You need to act a lot quicker. That's my frustration. My personal frustration comes from that, not with Frank out. I'm not into all of that. Frank out. I'm not into all of that stuff.
Well, there you go. Well, Nate, listen, always a pleasure, brother. Always great to
thank
see
you.
Thanks, Nate. Thanks for coming on, man.
Mate, everyone check out Nate's channel, Canadian Dose of Spurs. Regular content, a top man. And I will speak to you very, very soon, Nate, my brother.
Big up, mate.
Yeah, thank you, guys. You guys take care. Thank you.
And you, Geez. I'll speak to you later.
You.
So, yeah, I mean, I can see the chat. The chat's going a lot with this Frank out.
No, I mean, that's too far too reactive, guys.
People are entitled to their opinion. As people know, you and I have been very opinionated on our channels on certain
our
subjects.
Beards and hair.
Exactly, our beards and hair. Listen, it's...
The white hair.
It's way too soon. He needs to start realising that there are things he needs to improve and learn. There's no doubt that he needs to find these things. I've got no doubt that he'll find the solutions. No doubt that we'll be fine, and no doubt we're back on a winning run very, very shortly. But let's go to the next guest, and it is someone I've been dying to speak to live. It's King Oasis. King Oasis and Pet. You there, buddy?
We can't hear you, mate. We can't hear you.
Oh, sorry.
There you go.
There. Now we can. We can now.
There you go. How you doing, buddy?
I'm doing, mate. Well, mate, you all right?
I'm good. I'm good. So fire away, buddy. What do you want to speak about?
I'm frustrated. So we were well in the first 15. We scored the goal, but we just seemed to fall off. as time went on, we just gave the game to Villa, and they took their chances and made their subs better than us. We were too late with our subs. Way too late. We should have made them earlier. And it's a shame with Romero as well. I'm not sure what's wrong with him, but I hope he's not out for long.
Yeah, I think more will come out about that.
They didn't want to risk it, didn't they?
Yeah.
They had a bit of problem with the knee by the sounds of it, and they just didn't want to risk.
Well, you look at it, what we got? We got Monaco. Is it Monaco this week?
Yeah,
Yes, Monaco. Then Everton away.
There's too many
Then
games
Newcastle,
every 3
then
days.
Chelsea,
You can't
which
risk losing our best centre back and captain.
And captain.
Yep.
But yeah, I mean, like I said, I think Kevin Danso, when he comes in, never lets us down. Paulinho, like you said, was great. What's your takes on Joe? What we haven't spoken. Let's get King Oasis. Where are you standing with Vicario right now? Do you reckon he was at fault for either? Well, not. I don't. We both don't think he was at fault for either goal. I think the criticism on him today is a bit harsh. But where are you with it?
I do agree the criticism is harsh, but if he keeps making mistakes, we are going to have to look at giving Kingsley a try. And I think Kingsley's an amazing keeper, and he deserves a try. Because don't get me wrong, Vicario is an amazing keeper, but I don't want him to make any more mistakes. I'm not saying he made any mistakes today, but I think we need to give Kingsley a go soon. Yeah.
Do you feel the goal was his fault, the first one? What did you make of it? What was your input?
There was you had no chance stopping that. There's no chance. That was a proper good strike from Rogers.
It's a great strike from him. It was a great strike from him. Like Iggy said, second half, Unai Emery is a fantastic manager. He's done this. He's been there. He's got the... And when you've got players like Ollie Watkins and Bundio, who is a very, very good, useful player, and they need to improve their front line, they instantly improve their front line. What do you reckon on the subs and Frank himself, King Oasis? What were your impressions from today and your takeaways?
I think we made them way too late. We made the right subs. I have to agree with that, but we just made them too late. If we made them a bit earlier, maybe we could have got a draw or even a win. But we made them too late. Sorry, I'm just letting my dog out.
You do that, buddy.
Yeah, I'm a bit disappointed with that because I thought we could have won, but as I said, we made the subs late.
I agree.
I'm Frank in, by the way. I don't get these people saying Frank out. It's early days still. Early days.
It's just very reactionary, and just lost the game. What I try to do is, again, it's not for everyone, and maybe I'm showing my age. I try to reflect and see what things we did right today and where we went wrong, and if we can just take that and bring it into the next game, I do feel that we can turn it around. Of course, our home record has to improve massively. I don't want to bring things from last year, because if you look at it, it makes it 3 wins out of 18. But that's like last year's. It's not Frank's doing. That's last year. We haven't got the same manager now. If the same manager had been in charge, you could say, well, if Ange had been in charge now, you could say, Ange, it's 18 games now. It's not good enough. You was here last year and this year, but it's not the case. So we have to separate the two. So for me, yes, things have got to improve in terms of record, but also you've got to look at it where we are the strongest. Our strongest point for me at the moment are our back four. I think our midfield, we have options in midfield with Bergvall, Sarr, and with the three that with Bentancur and Paulinho. I think we should make that part of the pitch a lot more solid. And where we are at our weakest in terms of attacking, we're really, without Solanke there, we really are. Obviously, we're waiting for Colin Wani. I haven't expressed a judgment on him just yet. But the other guys, we're a little bit weak in that attacking third area. So you got to play not 4 attacking players. For me, you have to play 3 attacking players and really solidify that midfield.
In all honesty as well, just talking about this, King Oasis, when you look at the home form, which has been atrocious in the calendar year, you look at it, when we left White Hart Lane, we obviously had the unbeaten season. And White Hart Lane, the atmosphere was electric. was absolutely electric. And we were so close to the pitch. Obviously, the noise was there. Since we've been at this stadium, obviously when we first went in, Poch was there and we had the champion. I think we lost with West Ham, and then obviously the season he got sacked. Jose, and then with COVID, I don't think the home form was brilliant. Nuno didn't get long enough. Conte, apart from when we got Champions League, that the first half he came in, home form has been a big problem for us at this stadium.
See, the thing is, it's like a dog chasing its tail. We want more from the fans, but then they've been 18 home games. We've won 3.
Yep.
I can, how do you go in
Swings
with
around
positive?
us.
It might start off with electric atmosphere and then it kind of dies off. The fans are the players, are the only ones that get, only winning 2-3 in a bounce will change, hopefully, the atmosphere going forward. I don't know what the answer is necessarily, but we need to get the results, and that would help. We need to make home a home ground, a fortress. I think we have to start making a home ground a really tough place to come to. Not having teams where they feel like they can come and win the game the way that Aston Villa did today.
What do you reckon, King Oasis, regards home form and everything?
It needs to improve. It needs to improve. We can't go on as you said, 3 wins in 18, but that was like last season.
Yeah.
It needs to improve, and we need to make it a fortress. Make it a place where people fear to come to, and not, because at the end of the day, teams are going to come to our stadium and exploit us. At the end of the day, we need a bit more of an atmosphere as well.
100%. But who would you say really stood out for you? I mean, I know it's a defeat and it's a poor performance, and obviously 3 points dropped.
Mm.
What players were you impressed with today, or think did a good job?
I think Danso was really good today. I think Spence was good as well.
Okay.
And Palhinha.
There you go.
I love Palhinha. We need to make him permanent. He is an absolute gem.
He is, and if we can find the let's say it this way, Paulinho is the base of the midfield, the 6. Who is you would say Xavi Simons. Who is that one person you think is best suited?
Next to Paulinho.
Paulinho, Simons to be advanced. Who's your next midfielder you're going to put in there?
Either Sarr or Bergvall, but if I had to pick a starting 11, I'd go Sarr. But that's my opinion. But at the end of the day, in January we need to invest. I'm not saying get a new midfielder. Yep. We need to make Palhinha a permanent. There's like 30 million is. I can't remember how much we need.
25 million is a link to be.
I think we also need to invest on the left wing as well.
Do you know what, King Oasis? I'm going to say this. I believe we truly need a left winger. That's where I think. But do you know what? Someone said it to me yesterday, or I heard it yesterday. You look at it right now. We've got Tel, Odebear that can play there. Obviously, they're not the quality we need. Yeah. Xavi could go there. And obviously, there's a certain person out on loan at Rangers in Mikey Moore. Not saying that he's ready or anything, but if you go and spend the big money on a left winger, which I do think we need, you're going to have to get rid of one of Tel, Odebear or Mikey Moore. And it's not going to be Mikey Moore, is it?
Odebear, maybe. No, Odebear. I think Odebear was all right today. I think he's... I don't know. I don't know who we ship off. So I think we could put Pell on loan or send Pell off on loan. But just who we get in, because obviously Savinho signed a new contract with City. I actually don't know.
I don't think any of them are good enough. I don't think they're good enough to the level required. They're lightweight as well. Simmons, I'm going to hold fire a little bit because he's just come.
100%.
But he looks a little lightweight. So we have to put him in a position right now in this team where he can play is on the left. He can't play in that
Yeah,
10.
but you say that's what Modric
We need to
was,
get
and then we moved him centrally.
the setup needs to be a lot better. We are weak physically. If you look at all those players there, apart from Kudos, they're lightweight. And
Paulinho.
No, I'm not talking about Paulinho. I'm talking about.
Oh, you mean forward? Okay,
the forward in the
ones
attacking
that
third, and I don't think they make a difference. If they think, you know what, they're lightweight, but they're really rapid in taking players on. They create so many chances for the team. How many chances did we create today? How many efforts on goal were today? Was Martinez really put under how many saves did he have to make? With all the changes that we made, he didn't have a single save to make, man. So for me, that's obviously a massive issue. And when you're not scoring goals, very unlikely to win games. It puts the pressure at the other end to keep a clean sheet. So for me, we have to we cannot do nothing until January. So
no, that's the
for
thing.
me right now, you solidify defensively, really make the midfield strong, and we've got the players to make it strong in the right context, and really hope that Kudus and hopefully Colomwani, because I think if you have a proper number 9 today, it might be a different outcome. But it's a waiting game.
I think as well, Kieran, I mean, what do you feel about this? And you mentioned it. I've spoken, and a lot of people I see in the chat follow us on Tottenham Tour and everything. I've said before, I think with this setup, Solanke could have a lot more goals and a lot more opportunities than he did last season, where he was dropping deep and everything. I think it's vital that we get him back, and then at least you have Solanke, Richie, and Mawani there. So he's got 3 different top strikers, as in to play up top, that offer different things. I mean, who do you reckon, if they're all fit and ready, King Oasis, out of those 3, who do you think is the one that is the answer to this question until January to get amongst the goals for us?
Owl, Solanke, Colomani, Richard.
Yeah, if they're all fit and ready.
Solanke.
You go Solanke.
Because I think Solanke is an amazing player, and once he's back, I think he'll be firing on all cylinders. Because Frank, I'm just looking forward for Solanke coming back. When is he back?
God knows.
Oh yeah.
God knows. Well, Spurs said before the first international break, it will be after the first international break.
And then he's
And now we're at the second
of all the players we can play number 9, Solanke's a valid option, but is he the one? I don't know, man. We just have to get the context. We have to get the setup right, and I think we cannot play. This team cannot play with 4 attacking players. Just simply can't. Even more so when they're not. For me, Odebert's not to the level.
Okay.
Look, for me. Okay, I've seen enough of Odegaard, Tell, right now. For now, Tell might become a good player moving forward, but I'm talking the right here and the right now. I don't think Tell and Odegaard are to the level, are of the level that we require. I really don't believe that. So Richarlison's not going to get us the goals consistently. He might have a purple patch, but then it dries off. It goes off again. He might get injured, and then he loses momentum, and by the time we get him back, it's already done and dusted. So for me, in this moment, from what I've seen from Juventus last season, Colomwani, he gets chances. He misses and he scores, but he will get them. So I think right now, the only way we're going to get Colomwani to a certain level is by giving him minutes. So for me, you've got to start him. You've got to start playing him. If he plays one half, 55 minutes, 60 minutes, so be it. And then you've got the other players coming on for him. But he's got to start playing games. Otherwise, he will never, ever, ever find his best form. I know he's only just come back, and maybe that will change soon, but he's got to start playing him.
So, I mean, King Oasis, final question for you. Champions League on Wednesday.
Yeah.
Away at Monaco.
Yeah.
Who you started up top?
Colomani.
Over Richie, you go for Colomwani?
Yeah. So I think we need to give him a game. Yeah. I think Colomani's an amazing player. I really think that.
Even if he plays a half.
Mate, I honestly, I'm just saying again, I would actually say, I really, and it could be a masterstroke, it could be absolutely fruitless. I think we've got to give Brennan Johnson a chance up front. I'm not saying in the Champions League, but I think with his pace, we know he can finish. The others aren't getting on the score sheet at the moment. he's got to try and find a solution, hasn't he?
Brian, they're not getting chances. They're not.
There's that as well. There is that
Today,
as well.
guys. Honestly, like we didn't create. We didn't lay a glove on Martinez, and it's not so. Sometimes you think, you know what, guys? Another day he would have scored X amount of goals. You know, he got himself in the right areas. He got himself in the right positions. He was unlucky. There's none of that. We didn't create anything, let alone score. We got to score. You got to create chances. You got to put the keeper under a bit of pressure. We didn't do any of that. We played 4 attacking players at home. We didn't create anything. It's crazy. So for me, we need to go. We strip that. Play 2 up front maybe to help alleviate the problem, or we play 3 and we solidify the midfield where even if we get 1 goal, because we're so solid at the back, we might win it with just a single goal, or until we are strong enough to change that situation. Until then, we have to go with what we got.
Agreed.
Yeah,
Any final comments, King Oasis?
Come on, you Spurs!
There we go,
Always,
brother.
always,
Thanks
my
for coming
friend.
on. Much
You
love to you,
too.
King Oasis, buddy. Speak
Big
to you
up
soon.
yourself, mate.
See you,
Take
buddy.
care.
Bye-bye.
Speak
All
soon.
the best.
So we have 2 more in the queue. I've been reliably informed. And let's bring on Mr. George Orton.
How you doing, George?
Yeah, boys.
What's up,
How we
buddy?
doing?
Give us your thoughts on that.
What a weird game. What a weird game. We were dominant for 60 minutes of that, in my opinion. I feel like I was watching a completely different game to what everyone's saying in the comments as well.
Yeah.
It's just completely weird.
I mean, where do you see is the issue that we saw in that game, the double pivot of Polina and Bentancur? Was it the front line not being the quality that we need? Was it Xavi not being able to get an influence of the game? And like Nate said at the beginning with Bentancur's heat map, passing sideways and everything, I mean, where would you start unpicking the bones of that performance?
I think it was all of what you said, to be fair. The double pivot with those two just doesn't work. They like treading on each other's toes, taking each other's space up, constantly passing sideways and backwards. It's the same problem that I've always had with Brennan Johnson. It's never forwards, it's always backwards or a goal. Like, a goal's all well and good, but too often he's passing it backwards. But I want to see Xavi. I hate this woke football that's come into play recently, where people are scared to have long shots from outside the box because it's going to harm their stats. There was 3 or 4 opportunities he should have at least had a pop on goal.
Yeah, there's that
And
second
tested
half
the-
one, weren't there?
Genuinely, there was 3 times just in the second half. And I love Xavi, and as you definitely know, Brian, from watching my fan shows before, I'm a massive attacker. Like, I'm always in the attacker's camp. I always try and find positives for them. And I absolutely love Xavi. But we need to see him have more shots on target and more shots on goal in general from outside the box. That's what I was so astonished with him when I was watching him before he came to the club. I was watching his highlight reels. The shooting from outside the box, he looked like Christian Eriksen. So why haven't we seen it yet? I don't get it.
Yeah, you know what it is as well. I think George. I think we can all agree as Spurs fans, when he came on off the bench against Brighton, he made a huge impact. Had a couple of opportunities to also grab a goal, good save, and there was one that he dragged wide. He looked like he was going to cause mayhem on that brief time he was in, and then obviously when he's been in these positions. Like Nate said, getting the ball to him could be a big issue with this. And that's why I think Assar and Bergvall needs to play along. I mean, Paulinho is the now-down first-choice midfielder, isn't he, for the defensive duties. I've said he's got to try and find his mojo and get a bit of confidence, hasn't he? But he'll only get confidence with getting the ball and being able to express himself.
Yeah, 100%. He definitely looks like a confidence player. But as a number 10 and as a number 9 as well, that's like, it takes a seriously world-class player to not be a confidence player. I mean, on his day, Harry Kane was amazing when he wasn't so like motivated or whatever my brain's fried. When he wasn't as confident in his own ability, he would still do things like pick a pass out, but that's because he's a world class player. Richarlison's good, he's not world class. Solanke's good, he's not world class yet. I think Simmons has potential to be world class. He's still young. He just needs to, yeah, as you said, grow and work on his confidence and grow as a player and adapt to the Premier League. It's still very early. You got to remember he missed the first month of the season because we didn't even sign him. His first game was obviously West Ham, so we've
George,
got to cut him a slack there. I want to see him do more shooting from range, but other than that,
George,
our forward line is very soft, as you boys have been saying, basically the whole time from the end of from full time, even before that.
Yep.
Now this is I'm going to throw a curveball out there, right? My man of the match, João Paulinho. That's not the curveball. The curveball is my second best rated player that I've put down was Wilson Odobert today. I thought he was fantastic with creating every time in the first half as well, like especially, and for about 5 minutes in the second half. Every time he got on the ball, he looked like he was the creative player on the pitch. He was, in my opinion, and again, this is where I'm like, was I watching a different game to everyone in the comments? He completely showed Kudus how it should be done today. Now, I'm not saying he's a better player than Kudus. Kudus is far superior to him, given all the performances across the season. But today, I just felt like when Kudus had two men on him, he was having to pass back. Now, that's understandable, but because there was two men over that side of the pitch, it freed up Wilson Odobert over the other side, and we had a lot of success down that side. Now, my biggest problem with playing Wilson Odobert is you can only play him with Destiny Udogie. Him and Jed Spence constantly run to. It's the same as Bentancur and Paulinho. They run to the same area of the pitch and they both stop. There is no communication or cohesion in their play at the minute for one of them to carry a run on, one of them to cut inside, or one of them to drop back again. That then leaves our defence short and our attack short and overload in midfield. And what do we do when we're playing Bentancur and Paulinho? We end up passing it backwards. So what's the point? I think.
Good point.
Yeah.
What were you going to say, Keith?
in terms of Odobert, if you...
I get what you're saying. I do completely get what you're saying. I think in the second half, we looked most dangerous down that left-hand side.
Caveat it.
Kudus didn't have Kudus wasn't at the races today, which can happen in football. It can happen. You play a game, it doesn't happen for you. He's been good so far. In terms of what you said about Simmons, I said it earlier on. He's only been at the club for 3 months. You're right, Lisa, to bring up the fact that he missed a chunk of that first month. So, and he's adjusting to the Premier League, which isn't an easy league for. But what he needs to remember is one thing: he's made the jump from where he came from to Tottenham. So he's clearly good enough to make it into the Premier League, because otherwise he wouldn't have come to the Premier League. But what I look for in the number 10. It's something that the ordinary player doesn't come up with. He's the 10. He's the one that's got to make something out of something. Take the shot. Be daring. He's the 10s. The creative players are the ones that are going to make more mistakes than perhaps a number 6 who's going to play a 5-yard pass. His passing rate is going to be a lot more better than the number 10 who's going to be more daring. So I want to see a little bit more daredevil in him. Taking the shots like you like brought up. Create. Putting players in front of the goal. If he can't score himself, create to put the player in front of the goal. Then if he doesn't score, that's on them. But he's done his bit. He didn't do enough of that, and I didn't even see moments of it happening. It just didn't happen. Again, like Kudus, it can happen. In terms now going to Odobert was positive in his approach in terms of he wanted to get the players, take on the players. My problem with Odobert is once he got to a certain part of the pitch outside the area, his decision making wasn't quick enough and snappy enough to say, let me go past the player. He was almost hesitant. So then I mentioned it during the watch along. The defender would put his arm across him and just literally knock him off the ball. So it's all good and well running, being positive, but you say like he created. I didn't see him create. I saw him being positive in trying to take on players, but how many of them were successful in the outcome? How many of them resulted into chances for us to score or to keep a work for the saves? Not enough. That goes for Kudus, that goes for Simmons, that goes for even Tell himself had a couple of opportunities. He could have done better with that cross that Kudus put in. And he went up there with his knee. Who does that? You go up with your foot, you go up with your head, you don't go with your knee. This is where I'm thinking to myself, is where we need to fix up and quickly. Now, how does that? That's where Frank is the manager. I'm not the manager. He's the manager. He's got to find the way. I just feel that we are clearly, to the naked eye, weak in that attacking third, in the players that we got. I don't mind the way for playing a 4-2-3-1, but you need to like you look at some of the teams. I don't know, like United, Liverpool, and you're thinking that front three, they look frightening. Do you feel that when you look at our front three, you think, they look frightening? I don't get that feeling, and that it's not something that we can change right now, but it's something that we need to change moving forward. So there's no point in me putting a 3-1 when none of them all look scary. So for me, what can I do? Solidify the midfield, try and make sure we don't get broken through the middle. Our defence is strong. Our keeper, well, whether you play Kinski and Vicario, whatever, we can do that. So set us in a way with the forward lines, maybe play with a 2 up front. So there's support.
I'd love to
so it's not the pressure on just the one player having to score. You got the support. And Kudus, we don't have an alternative for that. Kudus is not on. You have on a bench. Johnson can clearly score you a goal, but in terms of creating, building, interacting, giving goals, I don't see any of that from him either. So lots to do, my friend. But look, all is not lost. I hope Frank takes the lessons of today, brings it onto the next game. And if I see his reading of the game improves and the changes come at the right time where he can tweak it and it works, then today's lesson would have been of service. But if he doesn't, then you can imagine Frank out in October. Imagine what it's going to be like in a month's time, what the fans are going to be like. Although I have to say, when we lose a game, we're probably the most reactionary fan base.
100%.
Yeah.
Well, I want to quickly caveat what I said though about Oliver. I'm not saying that we don't need another left winger, because we do. We blatantly do. We saw that at the beginning of the season. In the summer, we've seen that every game since. We need Semenyo or someone like that to come in. But out of what we've got, I think Oliver is the best. And what you were saying with him cutting inside, that's kind of where what I'm trying to point out with playing Jed Spence is when he cuts inside, if that's Destiny or Doggy, Destiny's doing an overlapping run. And he's taking at least one of the players with him, so that Odegaard doesn't then have one in front of him and one chasing him down from behind or from the side. And I think that's just where they need to work on that. But again, I just think their play styles, they just don't work together. For me, I actually gave Spence a 6 because I didn't even know he was on the pitch for the first half.
There you go. Well, I'll tell you what, George. Wednesday, we're back on Champions League duty. Spurs get back to winning ways away at Monaco?
Yeah, I think so. I think well, we've got to stay positive. As you said, our fan base is the most reactionary fan base out there. It seems to have been the case for the past decade or so.
Yep, minimum.
So I can say I think Frank was at fault for today. I think Frank, looking at my score ratings, he's dropped us 7 points in the Premier League this season. But I'm not saying Frank out. I'm saying give him time. Same as Ange at Nottingham Forest. You can't sack Ange. Obviously, they did and they can. But you can't blame the manager for the players being shit, which is what Forest did. So, yeah, I think they just need to work on that one. I think they need to...
The Forest fans might disagree massively on that one, but... it's a different subject. We can't get into it. We won't get married in that one. But
I'm more of a Ange backer than Simeon is. So I mean,
bloody hell.
Ange back? Did he say? Ange back? Did he say?
Yeah, he said he. But listen, George, we will chat to you again at the next watch along. Have a wicked evening, mate. Always a pleasure speaking to you, and chat later.
We'll
Cheers, George.
With seeing you watching.
Yeah, we saw that out, brother.
Take care.
So I believe this may be the last caller. Is that right, Ben?
Yes.
Okay, we've got the last caller, and let's bring him on. It's Jamie.
Big up, Jamie.
That's how you going. You all right?
All good, Jamie. How about you, buddy?
Yeah, not bad, not bad.
Good. Fire away. What were your talking points from today, or things to discuss?
Everyone's being so negative, but we're only at the beginning of Frank's tenure,
Yeah.
and I feel like we're making improvements. I think with Xavi, he ventures too much onto the left. I would like him to connect more up with Kudus. Like he's too far on the left, and he's not coming over to the right. I also think Colin Muani, when he comes in, he'll be a lot better, and also Slanky when we get him back. But I don't know. I don't see all the negatives. We're not going to go from 0 to 100 straight away, are we?
No.
Correct. As I was saying, Jamie, you look at it. This is what happened with Pochettino, and we're in a worse position with Pochettino before Kane scored that goal at Aston Villa, that deflected free kick, and look what. Obviously, we didn't win anything, but then everything started going rosy.
Definitely, yeah. Everyone's.
Jamie.
I see fans saying they want Ange back and saying that I just don't understand it. Calling for Frank out. We're 7 games in. 8 games in?
Yep. Just 2 defeats in those games. It's what happens. Listen, as you know, Jamie, from having watched this channel, when it comes to a certain previous chairman, I was always very, very forthright in my feelings towards him.
Great.
And that was with 24 years worth of me feeling the way I thought, or 17 years. Obviously, Frank is just at the beginning. Mm-hmm. Some managers, it takes a little time to click. People going on, I've seen a lot of people in there talking about Iriola. Iriola was at the bottom of the league for the first part of his Bournemouth career. And I don't think they won in the first 8 games. He's doing wonderful now at Bournemouth. Wonderful. Great manager. But he's had 2 years to shape that Bournemouth team. Obviously, their scouting is on another level, which we need to be on right now.
Right.
But yeah, I think it's way too reactionary, and I can't go nuts at people going reactionary, because people will know on this channel I am very reactionary on certain subjects. But the Frank slander is to me just completely out there. But what was your feelings on this Bentancur Paulinho double pivot?
It's a hard one. Paulinho, obviously, brilliant. Everything he does is brilliant. He does exactly what he needs to do. As a number 6, last season, we were calling for a number 6, and it's exactly what we needed. We need to bring him in. We need to buy him. Bentancur, he was passing sideways, backwards all the time. But that's where Xavi Simons, he needs to drop deeper a bit more sometimes. So he's done it a few times, but I don't think enough. We're just moving the ball around too slowly as well.
Joe, I think there was as well, but you could see it against Burnley, against Manchester City, and the other games. The movement off the ball has been very good. There's been always movement to give the angle or the overlap or whatever. There's just patches in that game today where it's just so sluggish, wasn't it? There's no movement, no angles being created. It's something he's got to. It's something Frank's got to obviously address and work on. What do you think going forward with the front line, Jamie? What do you reckon the solution is to try and be a more creative threat with the top?
Can I go back to that last point a bit quickly?
Yeah, of course you can.
So when we were taking throw-ins, did you notice how long Porro was taking to take a throw-in? Because no one was making movements. Yep. I felt like the whole team was a bit like that, really. I don't see no movement off the ball. Yeah, Xavi, he will come into that. But it's other players as well. And the movement is just too slow. I just, yeah. And with the front line, I mean, it's a whole new front line. They need to get used to each other, for starters. Wilson Odobert, he had an improvement this game. Obviously, we need a new left winger.
Yep.
Kudos, obviously, he wasn't on his game today, but he's going to have off games. This is his first off game, I think, he's had since joining us, personally.
Yeah, I agree with that.
Also, I don't want to see him out wide. I don't know why him and other players don't swap positions as well. Because Kudos, he plays for what nationality?
Ghana.
Ghana, yeah. For Ghana, he plays in the middle. I want to see him moving more into the middle and making runs through the middle.
That's not a bad shout. I mean, I don't see why the players that played in the final third couldn't rotate. I mean, I don't know if that's the instruction coming from the manager, but I can see Kudus is right. Kudus can come into the middle, and perhaps Xavi can go out on the left, and Odegaard can come on the right. They can interchange. They're all interchangeable. And Tel. So those four could rotate.
Well,
to make it.
We're a bit too static.
I agree. That's not a bad shout, and I do think. In terms of even in the midfield, I can see us changing against Monaco. I can see us either Bergvall or Sarr, if not both, coming into the team because they give us a little bit more mobility. They've got way more energy. They cover a lot of the ground, and I can see that happening. But yeah, it's not something I gave too much of a thought, but it's a valid point in terms of static and moving about because otherwise it makes it really easy for their back four and the players sitting in front to pick them up because it's just.
Yeah, I think everyone in the chat and all of us have agreed the front line, going back onto the training pitch, he's got to find a solution because he's tried the same. Tel, Odegaard, Kudus. Obviously, it worked very well against Leeds. Tel got the goal. Kudus, man of the match performance. But today, it just wasn't there, was it? It just wasn't there, Jamie, was it? I mean, let's just say Everton away, Jamie. Everton away, Jamie. Who would your front three be?
Kyle Moani, for starters. I wanted him before this summer. He's got to play up front. So against Monaco, I would start him, maybe give him a half.
Yeah.
See how it goes. But I actually like your idea of Brennan Johnson, just because he knows where to be at the right time. Because with what's called him? With Tel and with Richie, I don't think they ever arrive at the right point. They're always offside. I don't know. I just feel their movement ain't right.
That's it. I mean, that's the one good thing. Well, everyone talks about Brennan Johnson, don't they? And it's his arrival at the far post and his time, and he's got that knack, he's got that instinct to be at the right place at the right time.
And quite a few times today, the ball dropped, and if someone was there, we could have got a goal. We should have had a couple more goals today. Yeah. I don't think we played as badly as everyone says. It was a pretty tough game, Aston Villa. Everyone keeps forgetting. Aston Villa are a really good side.
For me, we had like 15 minutes spell the first half and probably a 5-10 minute spell in the second half. And my thing, we lost. I've said this in numerous amount of time. We lost the control of the game. We gave the control. Aston Villa, I felt, for larger periods of the game, in the first half and then again in the second half, controlled it a bit more. The game management was a lot better than ours. Game management, not just from the side. I've also felt that they managed the game a lot better, and they, even with our onslaught, that 50 minutes, they rolled it. Even when they went 1-0 down quite early on, they rolled that a lot better than when we perhaps they were in control over us. With Johnson playing as a striker, a few people in the chat have said about Johnson. I know you brought it up, and if you are allowing your opposition to come onto you and you're absorbing to then go on a counter, then the idea of playing Johnson through the middle can be a very good idea, because then he has to then counter. He's got the pace, and one thing he definitely has, he can finish. His finishing is probably his strongest point. But if we're talking of playing Johnson as a number 9, where he has to play back to goal, hold the ball up, play, interact with other players, I don't think that's his game, and I don't think he's even anywhere near good enough to be doing that side of his game. No. But we have to have a clear idea, say, look, we're going to play number 9, we're going to absorb a lot of the pressure and then try and hit them in a counter with our fastest players, which he's one of those, and he can be involved in that scenario. If that is a setup, then I could play with him. If back to goal and all the other stuff where we're playing high up the pitch, he won't find the spaces because he's not that sort of player. He needs the pitch ahead. That's why I was frustrated today, because they played high line, Villa. Especially in the first half, they did a lot. And I just thought Johnson, Sarr would have been brilliant for them to get in, and so we wouldn't get caught offside as easily as we did today. The second half, especially once they took the lead, they dropped like 15 yards and then they bring Johnson on. Why would you bring Johnson on now when they just dropped 15 yards? He's not going to get the spaces behind. And on top of it, we played him a wing back on the left when he's often played on the right. There were things that didn't make sense to me, and that, to me, made me question a little bit of the reading of the game from Frank in comparison to what Emery did. And I think that's where the match really, for me personally, was won there. It was won by the sidelines today and the managers. For me, they made the right calls at the right time. And because up until that point, and I said it during the match, that it can go either way here, because it was really like we were knocking, they were knocking, and it just kind of just swung their way after those substitutions. It really did. For me, that's where I think we lost the game.
I think we had a few chances to counter-attack, and we just played the ball slowly again, because no one was running up the pitch as well, which I was getting a bit annoyed about. Yeah, like, we should be sprinting forward.
Oh, well, that first half we had 4 versus 4.
Just to change
quite a lot of times.
Exactly. I mean, there's things to work on. There's things to improve. Like we've said, you look at it. The defence solid. Yes, we conceded 2 goals, but they were 2 goals outside the area. Yes, we can talk about the closing down, whatever, but the defence this season has been solid. Paulinho, solid as a goddamn rock. The rest up top and around Paulinho, work has got to be done to find the right balance. And you've got to remember, we've got Kulusevski coming back, you've got Dragushin coming back, you've got players coming back. He's just got to find that change. I mean, Jamie, final question before we wrap up. What's your thoughts on our home form this calendar year and in general? Is it related to atmosphere? Is it related to... What do you reckon that issue is that our home form has just been atrocious this season or calendar
I don't
year?
want to make excuses, but I went to the Wolves game. And
so did I.
Every time a player makes a mistake, all you can hear is the player. Get
frustrating.
And I get what I was moaning too, but all you can hear is that. And it's not going to give the players confidence, is it? Really?
The chants of frustration are far louder than the chants of supporting the team. That's what came through the headphones when I was watching the game today, and I said that to Brian. I pointed this out. It doesn't feel like a home game. If you saw the Aston Villa fans, you could hear them. Like, I know we're far better. We're really loud when we go away from home. You can hear us through the telly and everything. You really can. But at home, it just doesn't have the same energy, and I didn't feel that energy from the fan. That's not to say that that's the reason why we lost the game or didn't play well. I'm not. But it adds that you need to make the home game a fortress, and the 12th person. The bands have to be that. They have to be the 12th person.
I don't think there's no answer really at home. I don't know why we don't have a drummer or something like that. I really don't. It goes silent for like 15 minutes of the game.
Yeah.
Well, hopefully, Jamie, I mean, what I would hope now is obviously it was dubbed the white wall of noise to resemble the yellow wall. It was going to be this raucous one-tier stand that was going to generate a massive atmosphere. Obviously, one of the things you've displaced, what I would have done, and this is going back, when we moved stadiums, everyone that was in the Park Lane and the East Stand, on that corner, I would have said, guys, you're going in there. You're going straight in there with your season tickets. We need you to be the focal point. Obviously, you've got the Club 1882 in the middle. I just hope now, with Vinay, obviously, and Spurs, and him listening to the fan advisory boards, as we heard in the forum, the Supporters Trust, Spurs flags, who do a wonderful job, Spurs song sheets, and Return of the Shelf. Hopefully these singing sections that were promised in previous games, but then kiboshed at the final moments, and it's why they broke away from doing anything, because they weren't getting anywhere. But I would hope that the new look board and the new look approach that Spurs are going down would look at that South Stand and say, right, we've got to address this situation. What do you say?
Hopefully. I remember going as a kid to White Hart Lane, and it feels like they've split all of the loyal fans up.
Yeah.
Don't get me wrong, I don't go every week. I work on a Saturday. I'm a barber. I try to go as much as possible. But it seems like the South Stand, I don't know how on the South Stand you can buy a ticket so easily. That South Stand should be where all the loyal fans are, where everyone's singing.
Yep.
Yeah, I just don't understand it, to be honest. It's a bit of a weird situation, isn't it?
It is. Well, hopefully, like what Frank needs to do on the pitch, Spurs could address that. That I think is a big problem. If that South Stand is absolutely generating the tempo of the game and being like the Cop at Anfield, we need it to be an absolute noisemaker, an absolute game changer, because the stand is set up to do that, isn't it? But let's hope.
Well,
Jay, go on, Jay.
Also, one last thing with that.
Go on, buddy.
Like, you know, with Arsenal, I hate to bring them up, but before they started playing well, their stadium was terrible for years. But as soon as you're on a high and the club's doing well, I do think it will improve.
Yep.
We're in a middle ground at the minute. We've got to wait for Thomas Frank to settle in. We need to give him time as well. All of our fans are being ridiculous, saying Thomas Frank out. This is the most positive we've been in, I don't know, 3 years, 4 years maybe, I think, personally.
I think this team is 2 or 3 players away from being really, really a good side. If we can make those 2 or 3 proper players in that final third, would have solidified the defence. Goalkeeper, like we've spoke umpteen time about it, whether it was Kinski or Vicario, but get that sorted.
We need a new keeper.
Yeah, and
you reckon?
100%. We want to protect the goal in corners. When we concede the corner, he's our weakest link.
There you go.
Well, if we got Kinski and if he's better for that positions, then so be it. But what I'm trying to say, the base is there. We've got good defence.
Yeah.
We've got Palhinha. If we sign him, that's a great addition there in front of that back four. And then from that midfield going up, we can start mixing up, add the quality. So then if it's not working on the pitch, you've got the subs that come on in the second half. And you know, add players like Kudus and Palhinha. If you had another 2 or 3 players of that kind of level, that would improve us massively all over the pitch. And obviously, the number 9, you need a Romero van der Ven at the back, as you know, the quality of them two as a number 9 up front. If we can
100%.
get that sorted out,
I think you'll see once Colin Moani gets settled in. I think at Juventus he went in January. He got 12 goals, 8 assists. I think it was. I might be wrong.
Yeah. He done well. He done well that season. He got.
Yeah.
Of course, you would have watched it.
Yeah. Listen, he created a lot of chances came his way. Whether it benefited, but the team created him, or he created. He misses. Does miss chances. He's not clinical like Harry Kane. He's like he does, but he scores a lot as well. As like you said, he brought an assist because sometimes he never always played as a wide as a number 9. He played wide as well, so he can do that in a 4-3-3. So, listen, the quicker he can start playing. This is what I'm saying. Even if he can only play half, make him start the game. Build up those minutes because we really need a player that can score goals. Because I'm sorry, I've seen enough of Tell, Richarlison, to see that they're not going to get us those goals. Not the amount of goals that we require in this team. Correct. So just start playing this guy and let's see where that takes us.
At the end of the day, his stats previously they add up, and he's not just like he's a mobile striker. That's exactly what we need. Look at so Solanke could come in, but he's not really a Thomas Frank striker, is he?
No. I agree, and that's something that unfortunately we can't do anything. We can't even act on that until January anyway. So we just got to make maximum use of what we got right now.
Correct, Jamie. Any closing comments, buddy?
I don't want to be negative, but I do think against Monaco we're really going to struggle. They're a very good side. I don't know if you watched the game against Man City, but
I didn't. But there was 2-2, wasn't it? And Dyer scored a penalty at the end.
Yeah, Man City kept the ball, but I don't know.
Eric Dyer is out of the game, by the way. Eric Dyer won't be playing against us. Yeah, he picked up an injury.
Yeah, he's out.
He's out.
It wouldn't be a surprise for me if he did come back, though. No.
You never know. But Jamie, been an absolute pleasure, buddy. I hope to speak to you again whilst I'm over here.
Thanks, Jamie.
Have a great one.
Boys.
See you later on, buddy.
Yourself.
I'm the Spurs. Ben, are we done?
Yep.
Okay, that wraps up the fan show, ladies and gentlemen. Thank you for joining us for the pre-game kind of 15-minute, the watch-along, instant match reaction, and of course the post-match fan show. Iggy, brother,
Big up, mate.
it's been an absolute
Guys,
pleasure.
yeah, head up. All is not lost. We lost today, but tomorrow's another battle. And we've got a Champions League game coming up, so we can't really...
Exactly.
yeah,
exactly.
we've got to get up and go again.
Dust ourselves down, move on, and hopefully back to winning ways against Monaco in the Champions League and Everton away. And I can't wait to go see that new stadium. So, everyone, enjoy the rest of your Sunday. Thank you for being with us. Big love to Ben and Sim, obviously, who will be back tomorrow. Like, comment, share, subscribe, and as always,
Come on, you
Spurs.
Spurs.